It's Lori, late night Lori from Lori's Little Bit of Crafting. I am coming to you at 11:47 p.m. on Monday, September 22nd. It's 11:47 p.m. here in Wisconsin. I'm in the United States. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and we are going to try to build a house tonight. We'll see how that goes. I'm waiting for my device to hopefully catch up with me. Sometimes it takes a while. And we were having storms here, so who knows how things will go. I want to make sure I've got some volume because, yep, I have my wireless mic on. So if I run out of sound, let me know. It should be fully charged, but I like to try to keep up with comments. And I'm still waiting. There we go. Maybe. We'll get it. Sooner or later, we will get it. Finally, there we go. We'll get it. Alrighty. So, a couple of quick announcements. Hey, Sala, welcome. I'm just getting all my stuff organized. And I can't type one-handed very well. All right, so for those who have not joined me before, let me know where you're joining from. I love to see how international we can get. And just a couple of quickie announcements. We can start ordering this one in a little over an hour here from Wisconsin. It becomes available at midnight Mountain Time. So it's about 10 to 11 there. So we have to wait until midnight there. This is an Advent, a 12 days of crafting Advent calendar. It's pretty big. It's got an exclusive stamp set. There's tools, paper, dies. I don't know what else will be in it. We haven't gotten a whole lot of information. Embellishments. So that'll be pretty cool. I'm anxious to order mine. Little glue on there. Stampin' Up! Is also starting virtual craft class. It's a $30 class. We can start ordering this on October 1st. It will be a virtual event on October 23rd. These usually, I don't know how long it's going to last. Usually they're about an hour. So this would be the class. And then they're using the Traditions of Christmas Suite collection. I have some of the products. I don't think I have all of them. And I'm just going to supplement it with some of the other things that I have and see how that goes. We also have World Card Making Day, which is coming up on October 4th. If you're local to me, I will have my studio open from 2 to 5 p.m. The virtual event actually runs from 3 to 4 p.m. And that is a kit. Let me see if I can get my kit out here so you can kind of see what's in it. I showed it, I think, one day last week. I don't remember. I've been trying to clean up my crafting space and it looks worse than it did before. Yeah, it's only 12 days, but that thing is big. So, and it's pricey. It's $99. But it's big and it's going to have dies and the stamp sets and stuff in it. So I'm guessing it's going to be kind of like a suite. But this is for World Card Making Day. It's a handmade and heartfelt cut. And it is available for purchase already. You do need to register for this event, but it's free. And you don't have to have the kit. You can just kind of watch along or craft on something else. It wouldn't really matter. But it comes with this nice box that you'll put together. The pieces are in here. There are 5 cards. You get to make 2 each. I believe. And then there's compartments here for the envelopes and the cards, postage stamps, maybe your pens, whatever you want. But it comes with your ink spot. It comes with the stamp set. It comes with embellishments and a block because these kits come with everything you need. So I am looking forward to doing that. I don't know if I'll do my cards ahead of time or not. So far, I'm I have good self-control so far. We'll see how it goes. Um, and I'm not sure if I'm going to have anybody stamping with me that day yet or not. So if I don't do all of my cards, we might do a live with that kit that night. So let's go ahead and get busy with building a house. How does that sound? I, because I'm a demonstrator with Stampin' Up, we do have some demonstrator only events, virtual meetings, that sort of thing. We recently had a 24-hour takeover, and every hour there were different presenters, whether it was our um, demonstrator development managers, whether it was other demonstrators, and they showed projects. And one of them was a 3D pop up house that I thought was absolutely adorable. And I thought, oh, I can try to recreate that, I bet. And because we all love to share things, the demonstrator who presented it did a video tutorial separate from when she was showing her project. So she gave all the measurements and everything. So I'm hoping I have all of the measurements together and we are going to go through and make a house. All right. So the demonstrator that did this is Beth Ann Delbow. She's from the United States, maybe Pennsylvania. I don't remember. But I will try to, I've got everything cut ahead of time just to kind of hopefully save a little bit of time and to minimize any second guessing on my part. So you need a piece of cardstock that's 4 inches by 12 inches. So I happen to grab the two-tone cardstock that we have because our normal cardstocks are 8.5 by 11, obviously, so it's an inch too short. So 4 by 12. We're going to score this. So let me get my scoring tool. And on this long side, I'm going to get rid of my cutting tool. We are going to score at 2 3/4, 5 5/8. So that's just 2 eyelashes past 5.5. We're going to do 8 3/8. So I'm going to put this out. Those cards in that kit are really quite pretty. 8 3/8. So that's 2 little eyelashes before the 8.5. And then 11 1/4. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to fold all those lightly. Okay. And we'll just go like this. Set that off to the side. So then we need a piece for our roof. And this piece is 3.5 by 5 1/4. Ooh, by 5 1/4. Let's fix that. See, that's why I was double checking myself. So both of these should be 2, let me think. Where am I looking here? The roof. 3.5. So 5 1/4. So 2 3/4. 2 3/4. That's pretty close. All right. 5 1/4. Yep. All right. And then we're going to score it at 2 5/8. So I've already scored this at 2 5/8. So that's 2 marks above the 1/2 inch mark. All right. So that's ready. And I can go ahead and burnish this too. I'll burnish this one later. All right. So this is going to be our roof base. And then we have a piece here that is 1 1/4 inches by 3 5/8 inches. So 2 marks past the 3.5. And we are going to score this at 3/8 inch. So 1, 2, 3/8 inch. So I'm just going on that side. I don't want to cut. And then we're going to do, so that was 3 1/4. So I'm just going to flip it over and I'm going to do 3/8 again. So you could score it at 3/8 and 3 1/4, or you can just do 3/8 and 3/8, which is what I did. Okay. And then we are going to score this in half, which is at 5/8 inch. All right. Hopefully that won't move. All right. So 5/8 inch, 5/8 inch. Seems like there should be another fold here. There should be. I'm going to fold this in half also. It's really cute. I don't know how well I'll have it decorated. So let's just see. We'll have this one scored at, looks like 1 3/4 plus a smidge. So 1 and, let's see, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 sixteenths-ish. Just fold it in half. It'll be fine. Who likes to measure sixteenths, right? All right, so that's all the scoring we have to do. So I'm going to go ahead and put this away. And we are going to, oh, what do I want to do first? We're going to do this piece, I guess. All right. So it's going to be a little challenging for me to kind of show you with this black how it works, but we've got this score line here. So at the half mark, I'm just going to miter cut this a little bit. All right. And I'm going to miter cut this one the same way. All right. And then we're going to end up taking that part of the tab off, but I also want to miter cut this a little bit and this a little bit. And then here in the middle, I'm going to miter cut these. So I'm just going to have it folded and I'm going to miter cut them both at the same time. Okay. So here's how it should look. And let me just cut that a little cleaner there. So this is how our little piece is going to look. This is our mechanism. All right. So we want to make sure that this is working pretty well. So I'm going to fold these both ways. I'm going to fold these both ways. And these can go both ways also. All right. All right, so that's done. The roof is done. Let's set over there. Let's move to this. And hopefully I won't mess it up. So on this first panel, I want to make sure that my shortest segment is to the right. I am going to take a ruler, maybe. Here's my ruler. And I am going to mark it just with the pencil at 1 3/8. So here's my 1, 1/8, 2/8, 3/8. And that's going to get me halfway between both of those. All right. And then, excuse me. And then I am going to mark 1 3/8 this way. So 1 inch, 1, 2, 3/8. And then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to mark at 1 3/8 for the top. And then here I'm going to mark 1 3/8 also. 1 2 3/8. Now I need to draw a line across here because this is going to kind of be my roof line. So rather than run over and get a ruler, I'm just going to use this other piece of the 12 by 12 two-tone cardstock that I have out. And we're just going to draw a line here. Okay. So now what I need to do is from this point, I'm going to go down to this line. And from this point, I'm going to go down to this line at that first score. Okay. And we're going to end up cutting some of these pieces out. And I'm just hoping I paid attention to the instructions well enough that this turns out as cute as hers does. All right. So this I'm going to cut out. This I'm going to cut out. This I'm going to cut out. And then I need this one. So we need to mark it at 7 inches. So we're going to go here to 7 inches. All right. Hopefully you saw that. So if this is 2 3/4, so it'd be 1 3/8. 1 2 3/8. All right. So then I'm going to go from that center mark. So basically I've just marked what the center is here. Okay. So this mark I did over here, disregard. I was not paying attention to what I needed to do. All right. So we're going to go ahead and mark from that peak down to this roof line that I created. And we're going to go from the peak down to that roof line where it matches the score line. And we're going to take this out and all of this. Okay. So I'm going to have this whole stretch and then 2 peaks. So that when we roll this around, I'm going to have a peak here and a peak here. All right. So we'll have a peak here and a peak here, and these will be gone. All right. So let's go ahead and cut those out. Now I could use my trimmer and make sure that I get them super straight, but I'm not going to. We're just going to cut. And we're going to do the best we can. Well, I'm glad it makes sense. Sometimes it makes sense in my head, but not when it comes out of my mouth. And then I'm just going to hang on to these pieces for a second, and we'll put them back out. So you can kind of see how everything fit. And then I'm going to go from this side. A little easier for me as a lefty. I don't have to fight the paper as much. All right. So here's our little house, and here's what we cut out, right? So we do not need these pieces at all. Okay. Yeah, stuff's floating around in my head okay, but not when it comes out. All right. So now let's put our house together. Let's get rid of these pieces. And we're going to put our house together. And I'm just going to go ahead and put some glue here. I could put tear and tape if you like tear and tape. In fact, I think I'm going to burnish these. All right. So let's go ahead and put our glue on here. I'm not quite sure why that got all goopy. Probably because I use it to spread around my glue when I'm doing my projects, right? All right. Yeah, sometimes our brains are like way ahead of where we are demonstrating. That one red offcut would look fabulous on a side of a card one of these. Got one red cut off. I'm not sure. That one or that one. I'm just not seeing it in any other place in my recycle bin. So this one, the symmetrical one, yeah. Well, that's a very good explanation. I understand that. I used to be good at math. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and lay this flat. All right, because then when I lay this right on top of it, it's right where I need it to be. All right, it's all flush here. It's where it needs to be lined up here. All right, and it's easier than if I had tried to lay this out, fold the flap down, try to lay it flat. So just going like this works really well. All right, so yeah, that could be on a card for something. It is like magic. All right, so here's our house. All right, now, before I do the roof part, I think I'm going to put the decorations on the house. All right, so let me just turn over my instructions here. So let's, because I want to save this mechanism for last. So I have pieces for our house. So this, I've got 2 of them for the front and the back. And these are 2 5/8 by 3 7/8. This paper that I'm using is the Regal Distressed Patterns. There's a pretty peacock foliage piece. There's a white and gold, just geometric lines. And then there's this piece. So I have 2 of these. And again, these are 2 5/8. So yep, 2 5/8 by 3 7/8. All right. And we are going to mark this at 1 1/4 inches. So I can do 1 1/4 doesn't look like it's halfway. Probably because my piece is bigger. It's 2 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2 5/8. I'm going to fold it in half because that's going to be easier for me to think. All right. So that is just a little bit bigger than 1 1/4. All right. I am going to mark 1 1/4 down here though, because we're going to make our little peaks. So I'm going to do 1 1/4 here. Here's where I fold it in half. And we're going to do 1 1/4 here. Hopefully you can see. I didn't zoom in. 1 1/4 there. And I think what I'll do is I'll take both of these and I'll just try to cut them at the same time. I'll be brave. All right. You may be able to see, I should probably just put a line here. And that'll help me cut straight maybe. It might help. All right. So now let's line these up at the tops. And we're going to snip these off. Now you may be able to see there's some texture on here. I ran these pieces through the exposed brick 3D embossing folder. All right. So these have a little bit of texture. You may or may not be able to see that. I think you can see it. Yeah, 5/8 is kind of hard to divide in half. So let's just line this up and see if it works. It does. All right. I'm happy enough with that. That'll work. Very nice. All right. So I think it's 2 and 10/16, so half would be 5/16. Yeah, probably. Let's see. If I go here to here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, 5/16. Right on. I'm teaching my granddaughter how to do fractions because she likes to cook with me. So, you know, fractions works. All right. So the other thing that I thought I would try with this, these pieces we don't have to change. Now, I do want to trim these a little bit because the gal that did this, um, she actually had these 2 3/4 square. So 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. But this is not a square, it's a rectangle. So I think her numbers were off just a little bit. So this is 2 and 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 sixteenths. And this is 2 and 5/8. All right. So it's longer than it is high. So what I want to do is measure this with just a little bit here. So let's see what that is. So this measurement would be 1, it'd be 2.5. And then this is 2 3/4. So 2.5 by 2 3/4. So I'm going to cut this down to 2.5. She had us cut both ways at 2.5, and then it was too small. We just needed to do 2.5 on one side. All right. So let's see if yep, I did that exposed brick. So I'm going to make this one 2.5. Whoop, this way. I need it longer. All right. Yes, 2.5. Don't want to mess myself up at this point. We're doing so good. All right. So the other thing she did then, so this will fit here, and this is a rectangle. So 2.5 by 2 3/4, I think is what I said. 2 3/4, 2.5. Yep. All right. So what she did on hers, and I don't remember what color she used, but she used the white craft ink. It's a wonderful idea, but it's hard to cut fractions that small. You're right. And that's why I figured I would just fold this piece in half because why measure? It's small enough, it'll be close enough. All right. So we are going to take a little bit of this craft ink and we're just going to kind of highlight some of this brick and see how that looks. So it kind of looks maybe stucco-ish. Maybe I don't like it. I don't know, but hers look kind of cute. So I'm just going to try to highlight those a little bit, just so it accentuates that texture a little bit. And it doesn't have to be a lot. And she waited to decorate, the gal who demonstrated this, she waited to decorate until she had her whole card put together, but I think it just works out better. It looks frosty. Well, it's fall here, so winter's going to be here before we know it, unfortunately. I am not really a winter fan. And I thought about using my blending brush, but then I figured that would be too much. And then I thought if I did the drag technique, I would get too much color on there and I didn't want that much. So really this is probably just a waste of time because I don't really think it's going to give me the effect that I was going for. But, use your imagination when you do yours. Yeah, I'm all right with Christmas. Although, I really, I wish Christmas came without giving the gifts. Um, because I don't feel like I'm a very good gift receiver. I would rather give gifts. Um, when I was a kid, I loved getting lots of gifts, but now it's just like I would rather just give gifts and try to make people happy. Um, Gift giving, I guess, is my love language. I don't know. But my favorite holiday, probably of the whole year is Thanksgiving. Because in the United States, at least, our Thanksgiving is all about gathering with family and friends, having turkey and sweet potatoes and mashed potatoes and rolls and glazed carrots and cranberry sauce and pumpkin pies and all of the things, green bean casserole, just all those what I consider to be like comfort foods. And there's no stress of giving gifts. Now, there is the stress of preparing the meal. Yes, I get it. Um, but I'm all right with that. Try to get everything done at the same time and that's fine. But Christmas, I mean, I don't mind decorating for Christmas. We don't do a ton of decorations anymore since, our kids are grown, although we do have the grandkids that we decorate some, just not as much as when they were our own kids. Yeah, I start making some of my Christmas giving lists throughout the year. When somebody says something, something they saw or that they liked, it's like, okay, that's going on their list. That might be a good gift idea. Like one year, my brother-in-law said something about, and he's my age, so it's not like he's a young kid, but he said something about um, excavating or something, and he just finds it so interesting. So I got one of those STEM science kits that was an excavation thing, just as kind of a gag gift, but because it's designed for younger people. Um, but I thought, oh, he can just have fun with it. Be an excavator for a few minutes. You'll finish it sooner than a kid would because you understand what's supposed to happen. But it was just little fun stuff like that. And my sister-in-law got some really unique floral bouquet, but it was a puzzle. It was a 3D puzzle that was actually the shape of a vase because she loves doing puzzles. So, little things like that is like, oh, I know she likes this. And I saw it like in, I don't know, February. So I got it for her for Christmas for the following year and just have it stashed away. Um, so I like doing stuff like that. But getting gifts, I don't know. Give me Thanksgiving. And I'm trying to make sure my glue kind of goes all over just because it is textured and I want to make sure that it sticks. Now, I was not real careful about lining up my lines, but coincidentally, they're pretty good. No, this side not so much, but that's all right. That's why I usually get sad when I get something like a tea light candle holder. Exactly. Because then you have to like feign an enthusiasm that, oh, I love it. Um, Now, a friend of mine yesterday came over because we were giving this couple of friends of ours an old chicken coop that we don't use anymore because we got a newer one. They were so excited. She made me um, a pumpkin shaped wreath with um, like beads on the the veins of the pumpkin and some foliage things on top. I love it. It's a handmade gift. I thought it was really cute. Um, I love that kind of stuff. And she knew it was something that I would like. And that was just a spontaneous, you know, kind of a thank you for the chicken coop, which wasn't necessary, but it was very nice of her. Um, so I use the everyday arches. I think I left them out. Yes. So I use the everyday arches and I cut the smallest one to make a door. And I did this out of very vanilla just because I thought it would work. And then I want to put maybe a little step here, maybe gray so it looks more like concrete. Let me see if I have a scrap of gray close by. I do. What do you know? That might look kind of silly with that door, but it's concrete. It is what it is. So let's just cut So this is 1 inch. Let's go like 1 3/8 inches. And then we'll do just a little. I'm going to come over here. We'll do a little, and then I'm going to do another little piece, and then I'm going to cut off some of that one so we can kind of make these look like steps maybe. We'll see how that works. I know, a crafter without scraps. What kind of crafter would I be? It's just whether I have the scraps close by. All right, so I think that'll work. All right, so we'll glue those on. And I didn't really think too far ahead for the decorating. I was more concerned about doing the house because that's where you really needed to know the directions. Whoa, guess I'll have to clean my glass mat from that. There we go. And then let's go ahead and put the door. And I did the very vanilla because I thought with the gold it would look good. So it is what it is. And then we'll find some little embellishment maybe to be our door handle. Let's see what I have. Oh, here we go. Pressed flower motifs. Some of these fell off. They're very heavy and they fell off the card. You can see how some of these have fallen off. I don't think that was an intended. I don't think that was intended by Stampin' Up. So let's take one of these off that hopefully has some stickum on there. And we'll just put a doorknob on there. Whoop, that didn't stick. All right, so let's try another one. I think that one's going to stick. I should have contacted demonstrator support to let them know that I was having this issue with these coming off the backing, but they'll work like with glue or, you know, a glue dot or something. I just haven't worked with them a whole lot. That one doesn't want to pop over. All right, let's just get these out of the way here. They're very pretty, but I think they're just too heavy for the glue dots that they came with. All right. So there's our little door. And then what I thought I would do is maybe try to fussy cuss this down a little bit. And too bad Juju's not with us, because I usually fussy cut for her benefit. I thought I would just do a little bit of this and make it like a wall, the door design, the door hanging sort of thing, whatever that means. These acorns are super big though. The leaves are actually pretty big too, but you'll kind of get the idea. And you can see I'm not moving my scissors, just up and down, and I'm just moving everything, the paper, with my other hand. And I'm just going to kind of cut up here and make it look like that's how it belongs, because the door is pretty little. Hopefully nobody will be scrutinizing this for proportionate decor. So I think we're just going to put this like so. Good enough. I'm going to put it up on a dimensional though. I didn't have anything else that I thought would look super, but I did kind of like this for the side of the house. I'm just going to trim it straight on the bottom. So I thought this little piece from the same sheet of designer series paper might work. So let's just hang this on our door decor. Good enough. And then this, I'm going to go ahead and just trim it straight. And I could have probably made 2 of these. Yeah, I know we don't worry a whole lot about proportions, but I do like things when they look a little realistic. All right, so let's glue this on. And I don't think anybody's going to scrutinize it, so it'll be fine. You like how I give my glue bottle the what for? Give me glue or else. All right, so let's go ahead and put this down here. Little edge there that I don't like, so I'm going to cut it off. All right. So I could decorate the other side of the house too, but for tonight's purposes, I'm just going to put that on there. I kind of like it. Now, I would also probably want to put some kind of windows on here. And I think with tough love, you got that right. I will probably do maybe some pecan pie squares and then just put some very vanilla squares in there, smaller ones with maybe a window sheet on it so it looks like a window. So I can add that later. All right. So with the roof, we also need some roof pieces. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and put these on. Now these are 2 separate pieces that are 2.5 by 3 3/8. So 2.5 by 3 3/8. And then I ran these side by side through the Forever Plaid embossing folder. And the gal that demonstrated this, her first name is Beth Ann. It was her idea. That's how she did hers, and I really liked it. All right. So, we use the Distressed Regal pattern paper. Then the Autumn Toile is where I got those from. Very vanilla, cherry cobbler, 2-sided or 2-tone cardstock, and basic black. And then we use the Everyday Arches, the Exposed Brick 3D embossing folder, and the Forever Plaid 3D embossing folder. So I'm going to go ahead and glue these on too because I think that will work. Maybe you can use a Halloween house die from yesterday. That could probably help me build the windows. That's a good idea. I wonder if I probably have one of those houses left over. I'd have to change the color because I did that in gray yesterday. That's a really good idea, Sala. All right. Let's go ahead and put this one on. And then kind of see if my plaids match up here. They don't exactly. I probably put that one on backwards, huh? Let's try this. No, that doesn't line up either. That does. There we go. It probably doesn't matter, but Um, it does to me. Yeah, anything too super dark won't work either. You're right. But, around here, window frames are usually white or brown. So they're either like vinyl, white vinyl usually, or a color to coordinate with whatever the house siding is, um, or brown for the wood, like an oak. All right, now comes the absolute moment of truth. So she had it like this, and we are going to take this piece and we are going to glue it here. I don't think I have it mitered quite enough. All right, so we are going to glue this on and then I'm going to trim it a little bit. Yeah, very vanilla I think would work because of the door. So I think I'm just going to miter this a little bit more right from the start because it needs to kind of follow that roof line. That's better. There we go. All right, and then this one has to basically do the same thing on the other side. That should work. All right, let's get rid of my debris. All right, so let's go ahead and put this on here. So this one goes this way, pretty sure. And this one will fold forward, I think. And it goes this way. Let me see. Pieces, sides, just decorate the house. So let's see. Put the glue on the folded back piece goes score line. I think that's right. We'll see in a minute. We will see in a minute. And then this one is going to come over here and we're going to do the same thing. And then I'm going to wipe off my glass mat because where the fairy came from, I don't see the fairy. I don't get it. Did I say something? All right, so one of those tabs get folded back and one of the tabs is folded forward, but when you flip it, either way, it needs to be folded back, all right? So here's how it should work. I've got a flap going that way and I've got a flap going this way, all right? Okay, so now this one I think has to go back and this one has to go forward. Or is it the other way around? It might be the other way around. Let's just give this a whirl. So this is going to go on like this. So this is how our house is going to look. And maybe it should be like this. So this is how our house is going to look. And when I get an envelope, it is your own message. Okay. Oh, the fairy vanilla. I see it now. I missed seeing that one. Or maybe it hadn't popped up yet. I don't know. So you can see this is going to fit in our regular envelope. So whoever designed this, I don't know if she designed it or if she got it from somebody else, but whoever designed it, I think did a really nice job. All right. So that's going to go there. Now, what I have to decide is, how's this going to work? No, that has to go here. I have to see. So one goes forward, one goes back. It may not even really matter. But if I do this, those are going to be tucked. It's got to be like this. It's just got to be. We'll see. Guess I'm almost out of glue. All right, so let's just see. The one that's flat forward folded. Fold it back. And then fold it there. Create the roof pieces. So my notes say the flap on the left goes back. That might have been the little flap. Glue on the mechanism piece folded back at the bottom of the score line. I think it's got to go this way. So if I do this, oh, let's see. Well, either way, I think that's got to be how it is. It worked. Woohoo! All right, so let's make sure I don't have extra glue. All right, so when we're folding it, that mechanism, so those little side flaps, one goes to the back, it attaches to the inside of that peak piece. And if you flip it over, that flap gets glued of that, or on the right side of that inside, the right side of the inside flap. All right. And with these top flaps, this is a little crooked. So the top flaps, one comes forward because it'll have clearance from the triangles. And if we flip it over, this one's coming forward as well. All right, so here's a little card. This would be great for like a housewarming, or just decorate it all up for Christmas. So then when we get our little house, there's our house. That is so fun. Woohoo, we did it. Needless to say, this is the only project for tonight. I hope you're all right with that. That's all I had the energy for, I think. But you figure it took us over an hour and a half. All right. But at least I didn't have any like real big snafus. I love this. And then it can go in the envelope. Look at that. How awesome is that? I love it. I think I will be making quite a few of these. So this is from Beth Ann Delbow. And I think she was from Pennsylvania. I don't remember. All right. But you know, quite honestly, you could probably, I wonder if a gift card would fit on there, or if that would be, look at that. A gift card would fit in here. So what she suggested too is cutting a piece of like basic white to put your, I wonder if it would work in a pop-up card. That's a good question. The, I'm not sure because of the roof. I'm not sure how that would work. Figure it out, Sal. Report back. That'll be your challenge. All right. So anyway, a gift card would work here, or you know, a piece cut out. And I would probably do very vanilla just because that's the theme that I've got going in here. Put a very vanilla piece. You could put one on each side. You could actually put a little slide out thing here, you know, with your little, whatever you want it to say. and then they could take that out and then set their card up. But how fun is that? I love it. I wish I had thought of it to design it, but I didn't. So the only thing I have to do is add some windows. I'll put windows on probably all three of the other sides. Um, and I may use that haunted house, but I am going to say goodnight, but I will take pictures. Um, yeah, the journal that I saw you working on, because I popped in yesterday, I really liked those papers. I thought it was quite sophisticated looking, and I like that. That with the accordion journal, is that what you're talking about? Um, yeah. Well, thank you for coming, Stella. I appreciate that. We'll use the haunted house things, I think, and see if I can make some windows there. I could probably cut that out and make some circle windows. These are kind of wonky. They're all different sized, but I'll figure something out. Yeah, those papers were just really pretty. And, junk journaling is not something I've ever ventured into. And I don't know that I will. I don't know that it's quite my style, but that accordion journal you were working on, I thought was really quite pretty. All right, so I will post a picture of this on my Facebook page for anybody else that's following here and just didn't feel like chiming in. Stop back another time, subscribe if you haven't already subscribe. I appreciate the thumbs up. I appreciate, my thumbs up. Appreciate when you share the videos as well. And feel free to chime in because that's kind of what we do here, collaborate, make the best thing that we can, and have fun together, you know? So, Sally, do you have a live coming up or do you do once a week? Thanks, Sal, and I will see you later. All right, later today. So if it's almost 1, well, that means I can order my kit. All right, so you do once a week. All right, so it's Tuesday by you. So enjoy the rest of your week, but I will see you like in, I don't know, 22 hours or something. Thanks for popping in. So until next time, happy crafting.